Step away from the bike.
Bangers and mash. Bubbles and squeak. Smoked eel pie. Chef. Hi, guys!
Before Nicolas Cage became one of the most iconic actors of all time, starring in films including Face Off, Con Air, The Family Man, The Weatherman, and Ghost Rider. Before Nick Cage won an Oscar and multiple other Golden Globe and BAFTA nominations. Before Nicolas Cage would romance many a woman, including Angelina Jolie, Patricia Arquette, and Lisa Marie Presley.
I guess I was pretty horny.
Before Nick Cage starred in critically acclaimed action, drama, and comedy films.
I'll be taking these Huggies and whatever cash you got.
Before Nicolas Cage became the man who launched 1,000 memes.
I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to. And you have to do it. You have to.
Nicolas Cage was born into what only can be described as a film dynasty. He decided after watching some work by James Dean that he himself was going to become an actor. But he didn't want to get special treatment, so he changed his last name from that of Coppola to that of Cage. Now by the time he reached 18, he had already landed a TV pilot and he gave us this gem. He was cast in the hit teen comedy which has since become a cult classic, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but unfortunately all of the scenes, well, they were more or less cut. And well, you can still see him in the background. Anyway, he had made it to Hollywood.
I am so tired of dealing with incompetence.
In 1983, Nicolas Cage was cast as the romantic lead in Valley Girl, going from fresh out of school actor to leading man in only 2 years. The label stuck, and throughout the 80s, Nicolas Cage would star in some of the decade's most popular films.
I'm in love with you.
Snap out of it!
His success, it continued throughout the 90s, and then at the age of 32, well, he took home an Oscar for his work in Leaving Las Vegas, and a star was born. All of a sudden, you'd be seeing this guy everywhere. My name's Michael McCredden, documenting the life and career of Nicolas Cage prior to fame, also prior to the bees, here for you on Before They're Famous. This is what I meant about the bees.
Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah!
Now as always guys, be sure to let me know in the comments down below who you want to hear about next. Nicolas Kim Coppola was born in Long Beach, California on January 7th, 1964 to Joy and August Coppola. His father is of Italian descent, his maternal grandfather is 3 parts German and 1 part British, and his maternal grandmother, well, she's a whole bit of Polish. Yeah, go figure. Now young Nicolas was basically destined to be in show business as his uncle is famous director Francis Ford Coppola. His aunt is actress Talia Shire, and some of his cousins are Sofia Coppola, Roman Coppola, and Jason Schwartzman. But despite these family influences, Nicolas Cage, he states himself that it was James Dean, who he watched when he was in his early teens, that really inspired him to get into acting. He fell in love with East of Eden as well as Rebel Without a Cause, and he was like, yep, that's it, I'm gonna become an actor. Also his friends at school, well, they were thinking the same way, because he went to school with David Schwimmer, Lenny Kravitz, Pauly Shore. They all attended Beverly Hills High. Now Nick didn't make it to graduation, he had dropped out by then to become an actor. He did later go on to get his GED, and of course he would learn his ABCs.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z!
Now his early obsessions in life besides that of acting were comic books as well as Elvis Presley, and these are still things he holds near and dear to his heart. At the age of 17, he was cast in a sketch variety television show known as Best of Times.
Hit, smash, hit, make it all bloody.
Despite the cut-off jeans, the show never made it past the first episode, but 1 year later, Cage was cast on the big screen in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Now at this time, he was still referring to himself as Nick Coppola, but he found on the set that he was getting some resentment from those he was working with. Oh, Nick Coppola got it so easy. He decided he would change his last name. He then turned to his beloved comic books and came across the character Luke Cage, and he liked the sound of that ring, so he adopted Cage for himself. Kal-El, well, that would be a name he would later give to one of his children. After acting professionally for only 2 years, Cage landed the lead role in the modern-day Romeo and Juliet, known as Valley Girl. From there on out, Nicolas Cage started to land bigger and bigger roles, and as his fame grew, so did his acting style.
Plastic bag!
Cage became a student of method acting to better understand his characters, and he was pretty intense about it. He pulled out 2 of his own teeth to prepare himself for torture in the film Birdie, and he decided to eat a cockroach for his work in the film Vampire's Kiss. Now Cage still uses method acting, but he's tweaked the formula to make it work better for him nowadays. And well, what he's developed, it's a little out there.
I put on Afro-Caribbean paint, like a white and black paint, and sew in bits of Egyptian artifacts that were thousands of years old into my costume. And I would walk on the set and then wouldn't speak to anybody.
In his personal life, he was dating Jenny Wright for 2 years and later hooked up with Uma Thurman. This was before things got serious with model Christina Fulton, and for several years the two were together and welcomed Nicolas's first child, Weston Cage. In the early 80s, Nicolas Cage fell head over heels for one Patricia Arquette, so much so that he decided to propose to her the first day he met her, which she didn't accept. In fact, she made for him a to-do list on all the things he could do to win her over, but then in the end, it kind of weirded her out. But 7 years later, that would all change, because she would go on to marry him.
And I'll be damned if I didn't get really turned on.
After Nicolas starred in hits like Raising Arizona, Peggy Sue Got Married, and Moonstruck, his career continued to go strong throughout the 90s. On Peggy Sue Got Married, Nicolas Cage would meet his future BFF, no other than budding comic Jim Carrey, and the two would go on to exchange art, make funny faces at one another, and drink many a bottle of wine. Nick Cage balanced his credits with crowd pleasers like Honeymoon in Vegas and It Could Happen to You, while also starring in the experimental indie films like Wild at Heart and Deadfall.
I know what this is! You're trying to stop me out because of this crazy little nephew being around! Well, vive la fucking France, man!
By the mid-90s, Nicolas Cage was making $4 million per film. Then his old pal, Jim Carrey, he came up to him with a script known as Dumb and Dumber and asked Nick if he wanted to get in on the project. But he had just read another project by the name of Leaving Las Vegas, and something about it, well, he just wanted to work on it. And to me, I think he made the wrong decision. Like Dumb and Dumber, that's the best movie of all time, but this all worked out for Nicolas Cage. Getting involved with Leaving Las Vegas resulted in a pay cut for Nick Cage, earning only $250,000. But he would find out the following year at the Oscars that it was totally worth it.
And the Oscar is awarded to Nicolas Cage.
Now by 1996, Nick Cage's career, it was red hot.
How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned? How'd it get burned?
I don't know!
So naturally, after earning the highest honor you can get in Hollywood, well, Nick Cage, he set out to become an action star.
I just want to find some rockets.
Put the bunny back in the box.
And the rest of the story, well, you know the story because this is Before They Were Famous. My name is Mike McCrudden and I do all sorts of celebrity bios on here. I've done a whole bunch of actors, comedians, athletes, YouTubers. I've done something for everyone. There's also After They Were Famous and Before They Were Dead. And I'm going to be doing an After They Were Famous on Nicolas Cage to talk more about his career as of recent. So look forward to that. It's on its way. I'll see you guys in another video.